What's up, everybody? It is a smoky day out here on the homestead. I am up on top of the scaffolding right now. Let's take a look down at the puppers, see what they're doing. Mr. Jed, Lil June. You can probably hear the train squealing in the background. So, like I said, I am up here on the scaffolding, and the reason I'm up here is these trusses are not plumb. Let's get a level on these so you guys can see how far out of plumb they are. Alright, so you can see that bubble in there. This is actually one of the better ones. The trusses need to go that way. See, that's a lot more plumb. That is, like I said, one of the better ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a strap, and you can see I got my ladder going up here. I'll straighten her up. I'm going to get a strap, and I'm going to hook a strap all the way to the top of that up there. And I'm going to run that strap through this opening and somewhere down there attach it to something. Now what I got going here is this whole wall is pretty braced up. I guess it's not a wall, it's a wall of trusses. And they're all braced up, tied together pretty well. And I'm not sure how this is gonna work with tipping them all that way. I'll show you what I got on the end here. You can see up on the end there, I don't have the trusses tied to the gable end. It's just kind of floating because the gable end is a drop end gable, and I have these stickers that is holding the gable end. I think that's one there, yeah. So hypothetically, the trusses are only tied together where I have them braced on the top. And then you can see these braces that I got run from the top of the trusses all the way down to the bottom plates. We got two on this side and one on that side going up. They're also tied together just on the bases of them all the way through. Since they're not tied to the gable end, I should be able to rack all these trusses over. I might have to cut some of this diagonal bracing a little bit somewhere, but I think I should be able to rack most of these trusses over, which is good because most of them have a lean to them going that way. So we're gonna try to pull them that way and see what happens. You got the four-wheeler over here with this strap run up all the way up in there. So I'm gonna see, I don't have any tension on it right yet. You can see it's still loose. So I'm gonna pull on these things a little bit and see what happens. All right, I didn't move them hardly at all, so let's keep going. All right, I got that as tight as I can get it. I've actually been dragging the four-wheeler back, trying to pull it, so let's check that. We got to get a little more out of it. I can see that it's moved, but I'm dragging this four-wheeler, so I'm gonna try to block the tires and see if I can't pull a little harder against this. So that worked a lot better. You can see how much pressure these blocks are putting against that tire. And that thing just creaked pretty good. It's pretty tight. So let's go take a look now. Right, so it's kind of working. It's not working great, but what I'm gonna do is take my diagonals loose. I'm gonna take them loose one at a time and reattach them because those are pretty tight. So what I've done is I have that strap tight, really tight. Tire's blocked, it's trying to move the blocks. I've taken loose all of my diagonal bracing that's going way up high, and I've actually pulled against that as well. So I pulled against these ones and screwed them in as I was resetting those, and I pushed against that one and screwed it in as I was resetting that one to try to give some more pressure that way. It's actually a lot easier to push these than it is to pull them for anybody trying. It's hard to get a good angle. They're not perfectly plumb. Right there, you can almost see that one above it. If I don't pan up, you can use the wall kind of as a guide. The wall is plumb, and you can see that one. I almost might have a slight bow in that one from pulling it on the top end, since those braces are still in there. I'm gonna run with this though. This building, it's gonna be really close, but it's not gonna be perfect because this is the first one I've ever built. So I'm gonna call that good. Like I said, they are not perfectly plumb, but they are pretty close, and they're all mostly even. So I'm just gonna brace the crap out of it and hope for the best. Jed, can you turn the compressor on, please? Well, we're standing up here on the trusses. I just had to climb up and get that guy up there. That wasn't super fun. But I got the whole thing braced up pretty well. We'll throw a few more sticks in here and there, but it's looking all right. Well, I got the tall side mostly braced up. It's not pretty, but turns out I'm not super comfortable climbing around on the tops of these, or even just right here walking along these things. It's pretty long ways down. That's 16.5 feet from up here. And then, oh, you can see like at the top of that one, I almost got it to the top. It's another 13 feet all the way at the peak. So it's not super fun. At least I'm not real comfortable with it. It's not the prettiest thing ever, but for doing it alone and trying to get some of these lined up, it'll work. It seems to be a little more clear this morning. I'm looking up the mountain. I mean, maybe just barely. Yesterday, I got those done, all the bracing up inside there. It doesn't look super ideal, but it's pretty high up there, climbing around. I mean, literally, I'm putting a brace up and I'm climbing right up the truss, you know, with a nail gun. Trying to get those things nailed way up in there, and I don't love it by any means. That's pretty high up there. So I got those up there the best I could. Liz says it looks eclectic, so I'll take it. I'll go with it. Plus, I'm putting bracing on the outside, so that thing, there's going to be quite a bit of bracing up there. I moved on. I decided to do this inlay bracing throughout the whole building. So I got that whole wall done. And this one over here, see, I just come up, screw it, mark it, and do that the whole way. Then take it down and cut it. What's up, kitty? I can't believe you're climbing up this thing. Look at you. Jill and Jack. All right, guys, I had to go down to the depot and get some supplies. I didn't account for this thicker bottom plate when I was buying my anchors that drill into the concrete. So I had to go and get some longer ones of those. I think I got 5.5 inch or 6 inch of those. So that puts, about 3 inches into the concrete there. I bought a ladder. Turns out ladders are super expensive. I needed a ladder that will go all the way to the top of this thing. That's like 31 feet up there. So I bought a 34-foot ladder, which was painful. Ladders are very, very expensive, if anybody was wondering. What else did I get? Drill bits. I got a stapler. I got house wrap. We're about to wrap this thing once I get that strip sheeting up. And I think that's it. Yeah, it's that nickel and dime stuff that will catch up to you. Stuff you don't really account for that you're gonna need. I did account for the house wrap initially, but like I bought a stapler to staple a house wrap up. Yeah, so I spent like $800 at the depot, and it's like quick. So it is what it is at this point. We're getting this inlay bracing up. I had to pick up some more of these 1x. So we're getting all this bracing cut into here. It's going pretty smooth. All right, everybody. We're strip sheeting the side of this. It's a little more slow going, a little more tedious than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be pretty quick, bing, bang, boom. Not quite the case. I'm crawling around all over this thing, trying to manhandle these pieces into place. And so what I'm doing is I got some blocks cut, just some spacer blocks. So I go up and I screw my 2 spacers up, and I just set the next one right on top of that. What kind of screwed me was when I was building the walls flat on the concrete, I don't know what I did in my head for some of the spacing on this strip sheathing. I put a couple pieces on to try to hold the wall a little bit, try to hold it kind of square. And man, I've had to pound quite a few of them off. I've had to knock probably 4 or 5 of them off, so that kind of sucks. That took quite a while, so I knocked those off, cut the nails smooth, and move them to the right spots. But now we're getting into a position where we should be able to start motoring. Up at the top here, you can see all the way up at the top, that top row. I'm gonna have to do something with that. Those are some that I put on before I stood the walls up, and like I said, I don't know what I was doing with my measurements there, but it's not right, so I'll have to break one of those off and fudge it to make it work. But everything else is going pretty smooth. It's just slow going. First jam I've had with this bad boy. That's pretty decent. It's had like 5,000 nails through it. So I think that's how many come in a box at least. Huh. Jammed one fell out. So it wasn't even a jam. It was half of a jam. Misfired up there. I don't know if you can see the one sticking out. Probably not. If you haven't already yet, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That's going to be a wrap for this one. I'm actually headed to the woods. It is prime time for the rut for elk right now. It's elk archery season. So I'm going to spend this weekend up in the woods trying to get some meat in the freezer. If you guys want to see a video of that, please let me know down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.